Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. Today's session will be dedicated to your content creation, how to maximize impact while minimizing effort for smarter content creation with Bambuser. So I'm Lucy, Senior Customer Success Manager at Bambuser. I'm thrilled to walk you through how brands are simplifying their workflows to go live while still hitting their KPIs with great impact on the customer engagement and sales. So we'll spend around 45 minutes together, 30 minutes for insights. We'll also have our best content strategist, Cecilia Demont, joining this session. And we'll have also a Q&A at the end. So please interact on the chat. You have Mas, my dear colleague, who will be with you on the chat. And because the Bambuser community is huge, please let us know where you connect from and what brand you represent. So let's start with what drive the most success. The key factor, frequency here. Our data show at Bambuser that within a 10-day window period, you will have a higher conversion rate by 94% than less frequent ones. So of course, this is a key factor, and this is why we really wanted to give you these tips and tricks to go live faster with Bambuser. And how to go live faster and why? Because of Q4, because the momentum that we are building. Video commerce is no different than your retail and e-com performance. You see a steady growth month after month, and Q4 is the big momentum. So again, we'll give you during this session tips and tricks to go live faster so you can start streaming again or plan a live for next week and dive into the gifting season already. And how to go live faster. Let's go to the main point here. But just a step back, you might not know that already, but at Bambuser, we started with journalism, actually, starting with delivering critical information in real time. So being fast was always part of our DNA. So whether it was back in time for national leading outlets like The Guardian, BBC, Financial Times, now it's about connecting brands, your brands, with your audience in real time. It's something we allow with our key components at Bambuser, key features. Starting with the channel here. With Bambuser, you will have this automated gallery that allows you to go live in a few clicks only on your site. No backend, no dev required at all here. It's all intuitive and all from your BAM hub only. Something we really love, right? To drive efficiencies in-house. So this is how you can go live very fast on your site and how you would broadcast using our Bambuser app. Basically going live from your phone camera, which is very relevant to the time because of course you will have a result in portrait mode, which is the main mode anyways online currently. So let's continue with the Bambuser app. And a question we always get at Bambuser, that we often get, is the duration. Does that matter in terms of impact, in terms of KPIs? So we have some insights to share with you. And if we take the main length buckets that we see with our clients, we have some key insights to share with you. So if we take the first one, from 0 to 20 minutes, shorter videos, shorter form here, they will actually excel in terms of completion rate, which is very important because this is where you will deliver the full length of your message. So it is indeed an important KPI. And Continuing with a longer format, so from 21 to 40 minutes, this is where we see at Bambuser the most views. This is where we gather the most views. With even a longer format, so 40 minutes plus then 40 minutes, this is where we see the best add to cart rates. Here you have highly engaged customers, you have possibly your own community on the shows, qualified customers that of course get this storytelling. So best add to carts for actually longer formats. So the key takeaway here, I guess, is really for awareness, shorter content are really efficient, but to build the relationship and to have the best add to carts, actually longer formats are welcome. So it all depends on your objective, and both are not mutually exclusive. They can, of course, coexist in your content calendar. Going back to the BAM app that we introduced in the first part of this webinar. So the BAM app really makes frequency easy, as we know it. At Bambuser, we see every day very successful shows that are produced with the Bambuser app. And here on these top shows, you see a very strong viewer base, at least 2K viewers for the top shows you have here on the screen. So those shows, very successful, very authentic, very driven by the dialogue and the conversation they create. And it results in an amazing KPIs. Looking at the product clicks here and add to cart, we're around 20%, which is maybe 10 times more than on your e-commerce. So this form of content, simply produced with the Bambuser app, will definitely drive your KPIs. And how to elevate the content. There are simple tricks, really, that you can implement using the Bambuser app, as we said. So just streaming from your phone camera. So you can stream either in selfie or rear mode. So just to start with a camera. And on top of that, we really encourage you to get a few more equipments, starting with a light, so a LED lighting kit here. Why? Because it will elevate the production of the show. It is not really expensive, but it will make also here a great difference. It will enlighten the host, remove all the unflattering shadows on the host, on the decor, would be very efficient. Then there is something that is often quite underestimated. It's the sound. So please go get a mic for your host, and it really makes a difference. I swear, for 40 euros, it makes a huge difference. And here, what type of equipment you would need? Just like a wireless lavalier mic or a USB mic. And from this light setup, just made with the Bambuser app, just with your phone camera, if you had a light ring, if you add a mic, you will elevate the production and give already this premium feel to your show, here at a very low cost. The last point we wanted to suggest to you today was the branded backdrop, or at least a beautiful wall with your logo on it. Here you can really inject your branding. You can really inject your visual cues, your colors. You can also take inspiration from your visual merchandising in store to recreate the atmosphere. Those visual cues will be very efficient at driving your brand equity, also in your video commerce activations. Continuing with a great client highlight, speaking of how to simplify production and still be true to your branding and hitting your KPIs, our great brand partner, Net-a-Porter, of course, And speaking of luxury platform, I think here we have a great example, right? So Net-a-Porter, live on their app, to boost the engagement on their app, or of course also to boost the sales. So of course they started by integrating our solution and the Bambuser player on their own app. And how did they produce it? What do you think? Of course, with the Bambuser app. And what elevated here the production too is, of course, the location. They used their own in-house specific locations, their personal shopping suite, their showroom. These are great decors that you can repurpose for a live studio. The results of their production so far has been amazing. In average, they have a 5K viewers per show. So I guess here it tells a lot about how you can drive efficiencies, leverage what you already have in-house, meaning a great location, possibly already a studio that would be available, and your host. And that's a key point here also. The host will be great to build this relationship with your viewers, of course, and they will be great at elevating the whole production because of their expertise, because of their posture, etc. We have had before a great webinar with Kay Barron. It's available actually on our site. Kay Barron, who is here the fashion director for the program that she's built internally at Net-a-Porter. Kay Barron, as the fashion director, really believed that in-house talents were actually great for providing this consistency, this authenticity to the shows. So speaking of simplification too, also looking internally for hosts that could be potential, like expert and host for your shows would be also key. They build definitely the connection between your brand and your audience, for sure. And speaking of efficiency and success, your internal host will also be great at driving the conversion. If we look at the data, they're only 1% behind add-to-cart rates generated by influencers. How great is that figure? So internally, how you could set up this program, also great for people development, actually, how to set that up. Just a few tips here. Of course, starting with auditioning your internal experts. Also implementing this program as part of your larger organization and management. So it can be monitored, it can be encouraged by the whole organization. And of course, to manage this program internally, having regular segments can help, of course, because you can anticipate, you can manage things around. So you could have the segments like a weekly segment, bi-weekly, monthly, but remember the figure we had at the beginning, 10-day window period will increase the conversion rate by 94%. So when you implement this program internally, please think of frequency too. And the last thing really to highlight on your host is the posture of your host. They will communicate your brand. They express the tone of voice of your brand. They are the reflection too of your brand equity. So in line with your brand and the whole branding, go find the right tone of voice that you're looking for internally for your in-house experts. They could be the entertainer, like being energetic, fun. They could be like the expert, being very informative, like the expert. They could also be like the friend, like relatable. And they could also be what we called the ambassador, basically mirroring the expectations and the questions of your final audience, of your final customers. In any ways, your brand, your host, for sure, it's real connections, and your host will actually represent your brand to the final users. We'll welcome in a second Cecilia Desmond, who's applied these tactics for simplification, authenticity, and conversation really with many brands before. So please welcome Cecilia. Up, we'll just switch to the next section here. Thank you, Cecilia, for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Lucy. And
So,
hello, everyone.
so you are a content strategist, expert too in video commerce and content in general. Because of our topic today, of course, being content creation, I wanted to ask you, what main trends have you noticed recently in the digital landscape?
So for content, we've of course seen a shift to the short form content. That's clear. But what is quite fun to see is how storytelling has really become part of short form content, whereas before it was more reserved to the longer form, the YouTube videos, all of that. But we're sort of seeing that this is being translated to short form, but we're doing it differently. It's sort of a layering of storytelling almost. So messaging is becoming clearer, more simple, but to really nail that, it actually calls for better preparation ahead of time. So what we see creators or brands do to get these simple messages across is to add a good visual layer and really work with hooks, multi-layered hooks, from the spoken word to anything fun and visual, and also interactive elements where possible. They're all added to tell the story and to drive the story forward, and to be able to tell that in like 30 seconds to 1.5 minutes. And then I think another shift that we have seen is also a need to have people's faces in the content. We've seen the past few years that faceless channels and profiles were really popular, but right now that seems to be shifting. I'm not sure if it's because of the rise of AI content, but everyone needs to stand out in an authentic way, and a really easy way to do that, like we just spoke about with the host, is to build that cohesion within your content mix. So that could, for example, be by featuring a certain set and rotation of hosts, or it could also be creating a signature series. I don't know if you guys have noticed on social media lately, but we do see a lot of series. This is how I built a brand in 30 days, or this is 20 days of giveaways. We see brands and creators alike starting to make series, which will funnel people deeper into a content universe, but it's also something that will help you stand out super fast. And it's an efficient way of creating content because you basically need to invent a format once and then rinse and repeat with a few different topics.
Very true. And this need of simplification with a concise storytelling, this need of authenticity, this need of people and faces, like conversations, do you think it's restricted to like a specific industry, or have you seen it like in across different industries, including luxury, for example?
Oh yeah, of course. It is definitely across industries. I think industries such as beauty, especially, and tech have been really good. Consumer electronics have been really good at adopting this, but I do see especially fashion luxury catching up as well. So traditionally, fashion luxury or luxury marketing has been a very one-way communication with more polished content. So think aspirational campaigns and more like exclusivity. That still happens, of course. We are talking luxury after all, but what I have noticed is that they're starting to open up a bit and trying to embrace community and dialogue. And I recently saw that Stella McCartney launched live shopping. Their
Yes.
format is called Shop with Stella, and they had this great first episode featuring Eva Mendes. And Stella McCartney and Eva Mendes are friends privately. They had this collection called Laptop to Lap Dance, which was kind of like a day to night thing. It was really fun. And while it was clearly high production value, a luxe brand and stuff, it was scripted in a very warm and engaging way, sort of down to earth. It was conversational and it was fun. I think another great example of luxury shows that you highlighted, Lucy, was Net-a-Porter. They are doing great. I think they've found the perfect balance between approachability and value, and then connection, especially featuring internal hosting talent, which is a great shortcut to easier and faster content production, so you don't have to go out and hire some star host. I think we see in general a shift to not taking ourselves too seriously at the moment. I don't know. Millennials and Gen Z, they tend to have a darker sense of humor. Maybe it's following the pandemic or the general international climate, and to speak their language is crucial. So I see a lot of brands and creators make this true connection through humor. It's really a fast track. And I don't know if you saw this ad, Lucy. It was super recent. It dropped on November 1st, but it was by Sephora featuring Mariah Carey. It was super fun,
Yeah.
bringing in the Christmas season and playing into that whole online joke about Mariah defrosting every November 1st, and really kicking off the Christmas season that she has sort of come to own. And I think that Sephora saw like a fun opportunity to tap into the public discourse here and play along with one of the memes going on. And I think if we see even one of the world's great pop divas embrace this new way of connecting storytelling humor, that is definitely an interesting shift that I think will be prevalent for at least the next year or two.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we see Mariah Carey being fun, authentic, and like simplified version of herself, uh, that's definitely a main trend. Thank you, Cecilia, for that. Please stay with us because we'll have a Q&A at the end. So yeah, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you,
For sure.
Cecilia. Continuing with our insights, so you've got like the main trends and trends that you can also tap into for the future, but we also wanted to be tactical today to share with you this checklist of what's possible to do to simplify the production. So continuing with a simplified production. Still about the Bambuser product, of course, there is a key feature that I wanted to share with you because it's one of my favorites. It's the dual hosting. Back to how to create conversation, how to inspire your audience with co-host, with a community, with potentially, two experts or passionate customers advocates on the same screen. The dialogue and the conversation potential here is huge. And for this interview style side by side, you can simply use our key feature at no cost. Here, you don't need to get a production agency to roll this use case. So that is the dual hosting feature. Everything is, of course, available on our BAM base, and our customer success managers team can also help you going through these key features to achieve your goals with our solution. The checklist, actually, no, sorry, we'll go back to Zara just before. A way to amplify your video commerce, tactical in the way in how your marketing plan can support your activations, your shows with this heavy marketing plan across the channels. A way to be also more efficient is to see where the support can be is available internally. So with tier one campaigns, new product launch, huge promotional events, if you tap into these key moments in your commercial calendar, you will have the marketing support you need to amplify your shows. And it's exactly what Zara has done so far with their previous shows, and they will continue in that way. Next show coming in the next few weeks. So Zara, client highlight in how you can really tap into your existing marketing calendar for cross channels themes for your video commerce activations. Tactics and recommendations, here we are. So being very pragmatic here in how you can simplify also the bandwidth for you and your teams. So what we really suggest, for example, if you go for pre-recorded content, so content that you prepare in advance, that you pre-record, and that you will stream live on the D-Day. Why not recording all this content in one day for the next quarter, or take a full day, take a half day. But yeah, indeed, why not pre-recording in batches the content for the next quarter? What we also suggest, speaking of grouping, shooting together, why not, if you work with a production agency recording one show, why not recording two shows on the same day? You will save on cost, and you will save on, of course, time spent on this content for the next quarter or so. In terms of tactics too, you can also record your content with your phone camera, if it's a good one, and use the MP4 out of it. So it can be done really at any time, in any conditions, even if the Wi-Fi is not great at that time, and you can use that content later on to stream live. What we also suggest in terms of efficiencies is to reuse content within multiple markets. So the easiest scenario here is, for example, if you're live in the UK, in the US, you can directly stream the content to both markets, of course, or reuse the content across these two markets. But you can think of multilingual markets too, because we facilitate at Bambuser the subtitles generation with AI. So speaking of efficiencies, we help you also repurposing your content in 3 minutes only to different countries. And speaking of overall strategies here, overall principles that are worth mentioning today. We really believe also at Bambuser that the key factor, of course, is traffic. No eyeballs, no traffic, no sales. You need the viewers. So why not allocating more budget to the traffic rather than like high production with an agency, for example. Also, regarding how you can continue using this content, if you work with influencers, it's great for some campaigns, but also the rights are limited in time. It's not when it comes to your in-house talents. So if you work with your in-house talents, it will allow you to use this piece of content over time as evergreen content, really, that will keep generating ROI month after month. And the last point here is actually about evergreen content. If you have limited bandwidth, you might tap into the content you know will be relevant over time on your site, so that it keeps generating value for you and your viewers, because it remains educational, because it remains relevant, because your products are still available on your .com. So we will actually open up for questions. We have covered so far the setup, the host, the duration of the show, the key trends currently, and those that we see coming up. Do we have any questions on the chat? Please let me know. We've got a question here. I'm gonna read it through. So, is there a day of week or time that works best to go live? And also, what AI features does Bambuser power to help us drive efficiencies? So let me respond to this with Cecilia again. So a day of week or time that works best. So here, I would say look at your e-com trends. You know where your organic traffic is and at what time of the day and the week. So you can tap into these windows and that will give you the relevant insights. Is there anything else, Cecilia, speaking of customer behaviors or like trends where you would like to add something maybe?
And I think it's really good to just look at your data, see where is your audience and when. And it's also quite fun. I've seen a few brands maybe do different times if they are trying to reach one target group versus another. Maybe you go live a little later in the day if you're trying to reach the young crowd, and a little earlier in the day if you're reaching, I don't know, parents or whatever. So that could be something to think about. And I think also just communicating your frequency is quite powerful. We've seen creators do this since forever. I don't know if you ever look at people's YouTube banners, it's like new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. You can use that in your own live shopping communications as well, so people know exactly what to expect and when. But other than that, look at your traffic. I think that's a solid plan.
And look at your target groups. Absolutely. Then we've got the question: what AI feature does Bambuser power to help us drive efficiencies? So there is definitely the AI subtitles. So it is available directly in your BAM hub, and you can also test it. So it will basically allow you to generate subtitles in a new language in 3 minutes. I'm not even kidding. So speaking of efficiency here, we will help you repurpose your content for different markets, definitely. Right. I think we have no other question. So thank you so much for joining us today, Cecilia. Thank you, everyone on the chat. It's been a pleasure. So if you're looking for more insights in how to fuel your live commerce strategy, please reach out to your customer success team and also to go visit bambuser.com, where you will have other articles and other resources available. Thank you so much and happy streaming, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bambuser.